and welcome to Concert Pipeline. That's Jens Schippel.
And that is Steve Jones.
And today on the podcast, Jens, we have a band called the Neverlutionaries.
I love that name.
Yes. It's more of an artist that goes by the name Neverlutionaries. I don't know how that works because it's plural, but it's one person. But we're talking to Christopher Harold Wells from the Neverlutionaries. And I'll tell you, first off, I sent you a picture of him playing. He played a song on the pod, his new single, Ariana. So if you're into it, you got to stay tuned to the later in the pod to catch that song. But really dug his, he comes right on, into the interview. And I loved his background. I mean, his jacket that he wore blended. I mean,
nice.
Like it just hit the background. It was
same jacket as in the photo that you sent me.
Yes, that's the jacket he was wearing. Yes.
Are you serious?
This is from the interview.
No way! I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
dude, I love this picture. I've had I've had like a minute to take a look at this, and I don't know what to say, man. It is interstellar. Like I'm getting a strong Jimi Hendrix vibe, plus like I don't know, the Matrix. It's like I took the pill, and here we go. The real reality is coming forth, and his mind is like totally exploding, and the chord progression that he's playing, involves really nothing more than the middle finger, like fuck you.
It's pretty intense. Yeah. Well, to get it, just to be able to see kind of what we're talking about, you can go to any of our socials, Concert Pipeline, on Facebook at facebook.com/Concert Pipeline Pod, at Concert Pipeline on Instagram and Twitter as well. And you got to see it. I mean, it's really awesome.
It's awesome. I mean, it should be album artwork. It should be a mural. It should be on the side of his tour bus. I mean, it's that stellar.
Pretty intense. And we'll get back to the Neverlutionaries. But Jens, what do you got to share? How's your week been?
Man, it's just been same old thing. It's just been work, and just trying to make the best out of getting through the grind at work, and then just trying to be productive and stuff with the free time that I've got. But man, I've just been so drained. There was only one really productive thing that I was able to get done last week, and I have you to thank for reminding me to do it, because it's been on my mind every single freaking day. And after like the third week, I'm like, I'm going. I don't care, I just, after work, I'm going and I'm doing this. And it was filling out my ballot and going to the Civic Center and popping it directly into the box.
Good.
Did that last week, I think on a Wednesday. And next day or the day after, I got an email, said it was
really quick.
It had been received.
That's awesome.
Like,
yes. It makes you feel good, right?
It made me feel really good. Yeah, for two reasons. One, I finally got it done, and it's not like hanging over my head. Two, I'm so glad that I got the mail-in ballot, because they don't send these to me every year. Yeah. And I'm always registered, to vote by mail. And sometimes I don't get the damn thing, and I just keep on waiting, and then I wait too long, and it's like, okay, I'll just go to the poll or whatever. But then they tell you, oh, you can't vote. Because you're mail-in, and it's too late to get a replacement ballot. Fuck you.
Yeah. Do you remember? Okay, so Black people used to have 3/5 of a vote, right? I mean, back in the day. Well, just kind of seeing everything we're going through, and being a Californian and from one of the states that doesn't really matter, kind of feel like that, right? Like your vote isn't equivalent in California as it is in Wisconsin or Florida.
Right.
Right. One of those states where every vote matters.
Really. Exactly. Like, yeah.
I cannot vote and it won't make a huge, impact in California, right? California is going to be blue. But
Right.
which
Exactly.
comes down to the electoral college and and all the mess there. And is it ever going to change? Which president is going to be able to move forward and make that happen? Because it's something that's way overdue.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about politics, but it's just so absolutely infuriating.
Yeah, and by our next pod, maybe we'll have something to drink about, or
dude, I told you, when we got together over chat or whatever it was a few days ago, I told you, man, if November 3rd does not turn out the way that I'm hoping it will, and by November 4th, it's just like certainty that the wrong candidate was selected for a second term. Thumbs up. I'm hitchhiking to the next galaxy. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done with this planet. There are too many fucking idiots. I'm gone.
Too many for sure.
I can't deal.
It's crazy how many there are.
I'm doing the whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy thing.
Sounds good. Well, I mean, bring your device so we can continue to pod, because we have some more interviews coming up. So
yes, definitely. I'm pretty sure Zoom is universal, so it'll work everywhere.
Yeah, you'll be good. Well, let me tell you about how crazy my week's been, because my son turned 7 years old, and used to be you could just have a party for your kid. We had 3 gatherings for Atticus, right?
Right. It sounds like my birthday, kind of. Yeah.
God, it's just, and today, the last one being today. So the first one on Thursday we had was with our buddy Joe Wilson, his wife and son George. Joe was actually an hour and a half late to the 2-hour thing because he was driving back from work across the bay, and took him a long time. But his son and wife came, and it was only the second time that our boys have been able to play together since COVID hit. The other time being his son's birthday, and they wore masks and everything. They were both, Link for Halloween, Link from Zelda.
Okay.
The same character, so it was really cute. And
that's from the picture you sent me as well?
Oh yeah,
the costume outfits.
Yep, exactly. And so
I'm not as familiar with those kids shows as you are, but I think
Zelda Zelda's been around
forever. I have never seen it.
Yeah, I know. There's a new version and everything, of course, right?
Yeah.
But both of our kids wanted to be Zelda, right? Which is or Link, right? Link from Zelda, so okay, that was great. Kids got to play on the front lawn and got a pizza and everything. Had some beers, great. Number 2 was the big one. That was on Halloween. Which is the day after his birthday. And so we were having my mom and sister and my kid's mom, her husband, and their other kid over, and subsequently her brother as well, I think. And it was a Halloween thing too. And there's no trick-or-treating this year, at least not that I'm aware. I mean, my daughter said her friends are all trick-or-treating. I'm like, where are they trick-or-treating? And
right.
They're like, well, they're wearing masks, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know that there's that many people that are, giving out candy. I don't think that's a lucrative year for it. So to get a bag full of candy, but so we just did a gathering at my house, and and my girlfriend Tracy did everything to the nines. Like, she prepped food, and all these dishes. Like, I know.
Wow.
Yeah. A ton of like Halloween themed dishes, and my kid's mom, and my daughter made 2 cakes for for my son. One was Pennywise from It, and they made that out of cupcakes.
Wow. Okay.
And then a 3-layer cake, which with figures that are for his favorite things like Pokemon and Zelda and some of his other favorite things, right? And so there are 2 cakes, and among all the other dishes and everything, and that one was a lot of work and exhausting. And then we wind it out today with my dad's family, You know, my dad and stepmom, my stepbrother and his wife and 2 kids came over, and again on the front lawn.
I gotta ask you a question.
Hit it.
And you might know what this question is. I just need to know how long your dad stayed. Was it more or less than 45 minutes?
It was more this time.
Yeah, go Dad.
Broke the barrier of 3 hours.
No way.
Yeah, he left just a little after 2 and got here before, like right before 11. So this is
wow.
in a while, you know. But it wasn't just us this time, you know. The other part of the family was there as well, and so that I think made the visit more tolerable.
Yeah, maybe he felt less. I don't know. There's more to do.
There is more to do. Yeah, things kept moving, and it was, and it worked out well. But I was barbecuing today. I, cooked burgers and dogs, and
nice.
Tracy was in the kitchen doing, the produce for it, and quarter potatoes and fries, and corn cob and asparagus, and and stuff. So this one was more, a decent amount of work also, and then it's just like by the end, okay, we're done. We're done. Done.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know it is exhausting, huh? Yeah. But I'm sure Addie appreciated it.
I think he did. He definitely had a good time, and felt the love, let's say, right?
So, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So that was cool. my weekend.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to ask you was, did you guys, for Addie's birthday, go to town and just for Halloween in general, and just like, sidewalk chalk the entire driveway?
No. We stayed away from that. Oh no. Nope. No, that is not happening again.
Ever? Is there still any evidence left of last time you did that?
I haven't seen it. No, it did come up, and I haven't seen it since. But I will give you a breaking news update on the properties, that they're pulling the vineyards this week.
What?
They're pulling all of the vineyards because there's a virus in it that's been there for over a year.
Holy shit!
So they're going to pull it all and start from scratch.
Oh my God!
Like a 3-year process. So
that's massive.
Yeah.
That's got to be expensive.
I'm sure, and it's going to be a 3-week process, and probably be really loud and
yeah. And do you know if are they using equipment for that, or are they just hiring laborers, or?
Yeah, I think they have tractors and everything that they'll have to use. So
yeah, dang, that's intense. That's too bad.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna miss myself, but it's going to be ripped with a large bulldozer to improve grape quality and production. And 3 years from now, the vineyard will be in production again. And they're going to be making new Merlot grapes. So,
were they doing Merlot before?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't know. So.
Can you imagine that? Just one little stupid ass bug.
Stupid ass bug.
We're not talking coronavirus here, but
different virus.
A different virus. Yeah. There goes millions of dollars in wine.
Yeah. It's but I don't think they really got any. They had to, have all the grapes picked this year too, but I don't think they got anything from it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much, how it was usable or anything. So. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exciting update for the week. So Jens, why don't we bring in our guest again? This is Christopher from the Neverlutionaries.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am loving your background and the vibe. I dig it.
Thank you, man. We're out there, man. We're all in outer space right now, anyway. So.
Oh, we are on some faraway planet. It feels like, right?
Literally and figuratively.
all of the above. How have you been doing through everything? You could start there. Like, what has this been like for you?
I'm used to touring and traveling, and I've been doing so most of my life. So the weirdest thing has just been staying put. And I'm one of those people that I like as much information as possible. And having no information or resolution to the issue has been a bit trying on one soul, to say the least. But, I feel for others who, are dealing with more than just fear. They're dealing with the reality of loss and sickness and no jobs and all kind of stuff. So, compared to most, I guess, I'm fine. It's just a weird world for everyone now.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty crazy, and it's like, where were you when the quarantine started back in March? Like, what did that look like for you? Because you went back
Well,
home, right?
it was essentially I was in California. I was in San Francisco working
Yeah.
on the record, and I was I guess, about 3/4 of the way through it. So I wanted to come back home, because I was there during the holidays and New Year's, literally recording on Christmas Day, and just wanted to come back and see family. And then one thing led to another, and they just kind of shut it down. But leaving San Francisco, I could kind of tell that there was a shift just in the energy, like something was wrong, and maybe this wasn't as light of a thing. Like, I knew it was going to be heavy. I
Yeah.
knew it was going to be heavy. Even on my way flying back to the East Coast, people were looking at me funny. And this is in like February, late February, early March. And they're looking at me funny because I have a mask on. And I'm like, you'll see. Not to,
Yeah.
not to wish that on anybody, on any situation, is like this is unprecedented for our time. But I believe that everything happens for a reason. Call it the hippie in me or something. Um, this has made a lot of people spend a lot more time with each other, get reconnected, sometimes spending that time and realize, really want to be connected to that person anymore, which has happened to a lot of people. And so but it's necessary. It's making us look at ourselves as a country, and I'm not even getting into the other elephant in the room that's going on in the country right now, but it's just, it's heavy. But I really think at the end of the day that I believe in humanity, and I think there are more positive people than there are negative people. And I just really hope that, if nothing else, for just the sake of someone being proactive about this pandemic in our country, especially when it comes to leadership, is have a plan that works. Because I read somewhere that I think in Taiwan, they went like 200 days, some country, somewhere in China, they went 200 days without a case.
Wow.
So what are they doing there that we're not doing? And it's the fact that when you have everything separated, normally there's the government's working with the doctors and taking the advice of the people that I thought they were helpful in putting in place so they could provide this information. And they're just kind of resting on their laurels, and it's more about posturing and campaigning, and people are just dying, and it looks kind of normal, but at the end of the day, it's not. We've just
Yeah.
gotten used to something kind of crazy, and that's crazy in itself.
Yeah. There's too many people that don't believe it, right? And there's just people that are gonna, hold back and not get vaccines, and all of that. That this is, I mean, just the way that we in the United States, approach this pandemic is just, it's unprecedented. It's like, okay, it'll pass in time, well, it hasn't, and we're all paying the price for it, because we,
But that was essentially not even we, the people. That was a handful of people that were choosing to ignore things. And that's the scary thing, that someone of a questionable mental capacity can be in charge of saving lives. If something, I saw something where it said that he knew back in February, and then Kushner came out and said something about, oh, he's trying to, bring the control, get the control back from the doctors. It's all posturing and nonsense, and people are dying. And I never wish anything on anybody, because that's bad in itself. But sometimes when karma does what it's supposed to do, it can be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the EP a little bit, right? A little bit lighter topic.
Definitely, right?
Right. So you're, like you said, in San Francisco, working on it at Hyde Street Studios, right? And tell me about the process that that you were kind of taking into the EP when at Hyde Street. You able to hear me?
Yes.
Hey, there we go. Okay. Did you get the question?
No, it
Okay.
died.
Okay. Yeah. So I was asking about the process you were taking in when you were working on the EP at Hyde Street before you had to pause on it. What did that look like for you?
That process was very organic and very easy. There's a dear friend of mine, Chris McGrew, that's one of the co-owners of Hyde Street Studio C, aka Wally's Hideout. And you know, we've been doing some songs off and on for the past couple years. I would demo some stuff with him. He'd play drums on it, and I do everything else. And kind of came out with more of a definitive plan this time. Said, hey, you know, I have a group of songs. So he and I worked on a lot of that. I'd say probably like 70 or 65% of it. And then I had a couple other people. My good friend Johnny Extel, he's a amazing, amazing guitarist and a wonderful human being as well. And that does matter
Yeah.
because you can have awesome people and they can rock, but if they're jackasses, it doesn't work.
Right.
But you know, and had him and a couple other, you know, people putting some stuff on. I had you know, my dear friend Kenny Olson.
Mm-hmm.
He was in
Yep.
Nashville and he tracked some stuff for me. He's played, you know, he's a legendary guitar player, you know.
Bootsy Collins, yeah.
Oh yeah, guitar hanging up and the, you know, hard rock and that kind of stuff. And, you know, just having him interested enough to play on it was exciting in itself. And I just had access to these amazing players. And then later on, after I got back to the East Coast, I had another friend of mine that I was working on some stuff with, drummer Nick Baglio, and he's one of these guys that's been playing since he was like 3 or something. But he is phenomenal and a really awesome guy as well. So he and I kind of finished fleshing out the stuff, and it was the whole thing of like, here's a song with the click track, lay the drums down, and kind of re-recording some things and the freaking Stonian aspect of it all. But it was great to have it because a lot of people didn't have anything or to focus on during these times. And I at least had, I knew this record was coming out and I had to get it done and go through the whole process. So it gave me something positive to think about rather than sitting around and staring at CNN for 24/7 and freaking out.
Yeah. I know that nothing good can come from that, I'll tell you, right?
Not at all.
I try to turn off that noise as much as possible. And, you know, you're going to hear stuff coming through, but if you don't seek it out, then.
Right. Like, there's a fine line of being informed and then becoming obsessive.
Obsessive. Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. It's.
And at the end of the day, you have to live your life and just do it safely. And, you know, hopefully we'll be moving in this next few months and moving into a more positive and healing direction with all this. And, you know, hoping we, you know, at least come up with a plan that everybody can jump on and we can kind of get back to life as we know it, which I think will not ever be quite again as we knew it.
Mhm.
But, you know, we have our memories.
No, no. I mean, it's like this is something we're going to tell our grandchildren. You know, it's just like that we had to live through this, right? You know, so it's a really interesting, you know, crazy
Mhm.
time. And you worked with
Definitely.
Stephen Perkins on the EP also.
Oh no,
Um,
no, 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 not Stephen Perkins. Kenny plays with him.
oh, okay.
He plays.
Oh, okay. You didn't work.
Yeah,
Okay.
he plays with. Oh, that would be great. Uh, I met him briefly in L.A. actually when I was out there during NAMM, and he's actually one of my favorite drummers of all time. And so I put it in Kenny's ear. I'm like, man, see if he'll be down to, you know, play on the track. So I put it out there. I guess it's up to the cosmos, but that would be
Right.
really awesome. James was a really important band to me when I got into them. It's like they, you know, some music you dance to and some music it speaks to you. You know?
Oh, I mean, they did a lot for music, and Perry Farrell also. I mean, creating Lollapalooza. I mean, they're like that's huge, right? Like he's done a lot. He's left his mark. So
Cultural influencers.
yeah,
You know, like the real influencers are actually influencing something.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
because you're just born to somebody famous and then you're an influencer because mommy and daddy were stars. You know, that doesn't cut it for me. You
No,
gotta,
no.
you know, when you move a lot of people and you're moving something positive, and you know, no one's going to be perfect, but if you can at least try to move forward, I guess that's all we can even ask for any of us. Try to do something positive, move forward. I try to do the same thing. You know, I've had periods in my life when I wasn't the nicest person to people because I wasn't really feeling myself, you know, and if nothing else, having, even as of, you know, recently, having the time to reflect and doing a, you know, I've been doing a lot of spiritual growth in the past couple of months because when you're sitting there with yourself and your thoughts, you can either sift through them or be bombarded. So I, you know, didn't want it to be the latter.
And so, what have you learned about yourself during this time?
um I need to be patient with people and try to see, be more empathetic of other people's situations, because there's a fine line of looking out for yourself and taking care of yourself first and foremost, but it's all about us as a species, as beings, not as a race or creed or color or anything. It's about humans, you
Yeah.
know, because
And
at some point I'm sure it's going to pop up. We're not the only ones, you know, that are out here in the universe, and so we might as well. We should at least have some kind of united front within us and let these old ideals and let these things stay in the past and move forward to, like, you know, a day of light and an age of enlightenment, you know, because I'm kind of over whatever we're going through now. You know,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
And have you found have you found an ability to be able to do that, to be able to be more patient, you know, and understanding?
I it's anything is a work. Everything is a work in progress, especially when you're implementing anything new into your life. But I'm making sure, you know, I'm thinking to myself, am I listening? Or am I talking over someone? Am I giving them the ear they need? And I think if everyone did that, or some, you know, we live in a selfie type of world. You know, it's all about, you know, we're forgetting about what we're here for. And I think that's why uh, the cosmos put us in this predicament we're in now,
Yeah,
because it's like a wake up call. It's like, look how precious your life is. You can go to the store, or you can go meet up with a buddy in the park, and he can breathe on you, and that could be it. And that's some deep shit at the end of the day.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
crazy.
so it's definitely making me. I've reached out to some people that I may have had issues with in the past, and we may have had a falling out. You know, of course, some of those things need to lay buried, but some are worth saving, especially when I think I had a fault in them. So it's just, you know, just trying to, you know, we got to get better, you know, as people, as a person. I never want to be satisfied with who and what I am. I always want to be able to get new knowledge and learn and try to grow in a more positive way. Because when I was doing the not so positive thing, it didn't really work very well, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
talk about some
So
blatant honesty.
right, I know, break it open here. um, so let's talk about music and kind of when you know, we can go way back. Like, tell me about what music was on in your house when you were a kid, and your parents, were they influences on you musically at all?
Oh wow! Oh wow! Earth, Wind, and Fire.
There it is. Yeah,
Uh, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Uh, Switch, Bootsy Collins, and that was before Seven. Then Seven went to the record store and saw. I guess I forgot how old I was, but I got into Kiss just because it looked cool, and then
yeah,
I listened to it, and something about the distortion made me feel kind of funny, and I liked it. And I've always had a thing for textures that move you, you know, like a nice crunchy guitar that like it's incinerating, or a nice trippy guitar that just dances around your head. So that and also on both sides of my family there are musicians. You know, I have had cousins in St. Louis, Missouri, and they were MCs and winning contests and stuff. And my one cousin, Bridget, she had her own label back in like the 80s or something. You know, I think it was called Strawberry Pump Records. But that was kind of cool just to have other people to look up to. And it's, you know, and my dad played when he was younger. And then my grandfather played as well. So it's literally something that's in me on both sides. It's just, it's what I am, literally. I'm music at this point.
So what were the first instruments that you picked up? What did you learn first?
I tried the trumpet, but I failed miserably. And I didn't have the discipline at the time because I was younger to really practice properly to get, you know, to do it worth a damn. And then I guess in high school, uh heard the song Free Will by Rush, and it did something to me. It changed me. It was like the lyrics, the bass stuff, the drums, it was just mind blowing. So I asked for a guitar that Christmas, and I got a guitar, a Cort. And I broke, during the first 2 days, I broke the B and the E string off. So I only had the first four strings.
Uh-huh.
Kind of got used to it.
You're just using it without the strings, huh?
Yeah, I was, you know, I kind of fiddle my thing. My style on bass is kind of goofy too. It's like I play it like a guitarist and it's like a hybrid kind of thing. But really got and started jamming with some buddies after school. You know, we had a little band called Expugno, which is Latin for to take by flight or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing for 3 weeks, and I was like, I got this. And so I booked us a date at a venue. It was a friend of mine who's an amazing designer named Nilarte Dioso. Uh, he has a company called Neo Dandy, but he was a drummer, and another friend of ours was a guitar player, and we went to this club, and I think we were just more entertaining than playing music and entertaining the crowd like we were supposed to. I think they were just kind of laughing at it seemed like an orchestrated shit show of sorts. You know, it was kind of, I mean, I was playing for 3 weeks and I was like, I got this. I
Yeah.
got this.
Let's get on the road, right?
Yeah, but I learned, and even till today, I can always learn more. That's the thing about life, you know, especially with music, because you know, I was never a big deal in the Raleigh scene. You know, I was a curiosity at, you know, I'll give it that. But when I started going to hanging out in real scenes like in New York and LA and San Francisco, I was like, man, I suck. But it's not that I suck. It's just that everybody has their own thing that you really can't compare to someone else's thing because they have a plethora of different experiences and influences musically and life-wise that went into that music that makes them who they are, that makes them play that way. So it's going to be different. You know, I could never be one of these guys that practices with a metronome, you know, just, you know, playing all kinds of modes and shit. I'm more like an emotive kind of a feeling guy because I think that when you can say something in a language that everybody can get it, it'll get to more people. You know, like I love Rush, but when you go to Rush concerts back in the day, oh wow, that's weird. But when you would go to Rush concerts, it'd be a bunch of dudes and their girlfriends there.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like everybody. It was like a certain kind of, you know, person, and I had my nerdy self up in there with them. So there you go. But
Yeah.
it's all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff influences me, man. It's just life,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Like
And
I've been really digging and trying to revisit some old material I had as of late, and already thinking about the next record, even though this one hasn't come out yet, but just trying to stay fresh, and never wanting to be one to rest on my laurels, and always to kind of move forward. So hopefully it works.
Yeah. And so, was it in high school that that you had your Peasants of the Apocalypse? Did you create that band in high school?
That was after high school. I was about 19, and the drummer was 17, and the drummer was 15, and the guitar player was 17, and the guitar player and I had been playing around for a while, and we couldn't find a drummer. We had this like bluesy kind of thing going, and we would do stuff like Tales of Brave Ulysses by Cream, and a lot of power trio kind of stuff. And then we found the drummer, and it never, like, I didn't understand the business and really how to really move a band forward at that time. I can admit it was mostly just to be cool, I guess. Like, hey, I'm in a band, and I fry tacos on Tuesdays. It was, I didn't take it seriously. I didn't realize it was the beautiful gift that I see it as now. Because you, with time, hopefully it wisens you up and teaches you lessons, and you apply them. But now it's like, it means something so different to me now, because back, we were kids, and it was a way to go to parties. It was like, hey, can we get some free beer? Sure, we're in a band. But somewhere along the way, it hit me. But I've been doing music stuff my whole life. When I guess to super circle back, when I was growing up in Philly, we had to do like a play every semester, like Bye Bye Birdie, a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I would kind of volunteer to do every one they offered, because I thought it was just kind of, I enjoyed it. I like dancing and singing around, and it was fun. I remember waking up at the crack of ass every day, but that wasn't fun. But once everything got rolling, and you know, it was great. But then went from there to singing in choirs, then moving to Virginia, joined a Baptist church, and started getting into the more, the gospel. And my stepbrother at the time had a gospel group, and I sang with them, and had an Aunt Evelyn, and she played piano. So it was all around, so music has had a way of just kind of like being omnipresent, just there. And then, I got into like the Bad Brains, and, I was the band Corrosion of Conformity. They're good friends of mine. Actually, the rest of the guys are great. And they were actually like an interesting kind of influence, because they started out as a punk band, then they became like a alt rock, I don't know what you would even call it, like a metal band. Mm-hmm. And then they became a southern rock band, and they kind of taught me that you can kind of do what you want to do.
You can bend genres, and yeah.
It just depends on how real it is, and that people, they got to buy it. They got to believe in it. They got to buy into what you're doing. And if you can translate your vibe across multiple genres, that's a wonderful thing. I've always been two of my biggest influences have been the band Led Zeppelin and Prince. And it's because, they had huge balls. Yeah. They ignored what was being released on the radio. They ignored probably what the record company told them to put out. And they just did everything, all kinds of genres, all kinds of tones and textures and flavors. And yet both of those artists and all their creations, they both had a continuity that kind of pulled everything into their essence, and that's something that I find, just amazing. And it's fun, because, you can get in one mood. I can wake up and feel like, easy like Sunday morning, or, the next morning you're having the blues. The next morning you're, it's like some far out metal song. The next morning, it could be some electronica shit, it's like, if it moves you, that's what matters.
Yeah, that's what's important. Did you ever get a chance to see Prince live?
Yes, a few times.
How was that?
And it was both times. Well, the first time I was with a girlfriend of mine at the time, and I was trying to be all cool and not show her how I was all geeked out, but I was trying to yeah, it's Prince. Oh God, it's really him. And it was just a great showman. And I had a friend of mine uh, that knew Prince's guitar tech at the time. So I got to go to one show, and they're like, "Hey man, are you in town? The drummer needs sticks. Could you bring us some sticks and we'll hook you up?" I was like, "Sticks it is." So I got to hang out and watch him, sound check and do his whole thing. And then he did an after party at a local nightclub, and I went to that as well. So I got to watch him, you know, from 5 feet away, and he was really cool. When I spied him, he was in the corner eating a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
And he was like,
he is human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even rock stars like Doritos, right?
Right. Yeah. No, he's amazing. I never got a chance to see him live. I did almost get a ticket to his last tour, when he played in the Bay Area and everything.
Right.
But I had it in my cart, but it was just like, it's just too much. I couldn't afford it. And then, you kick yourself because it happened, a month later or something, or right after that,
I guess it's a little. I think the irony is that he died in an elevator, because in Let's Go Crazy, he's like, "I'm not gonna let the elevator bring us down,"
Yeah.
and then he passes away in the elevator.
Yeah. That is pretty ironic. Yeah.
Yeah, I personally think a spaceship came and scooped him up and took him back to where they brought him from.
I know. Like, you hear so many people's stories, and he's just like this mystic being, and he's like, and his presence is just incredible, just to be around that energy, and and
Yeah.
and he just shows up from nowhere or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Like he'll just magically appear out of he just like materializes. Like,
yeah, yeah,
where did Prince come from? Like,
yeah.
but it's they're not going to make any more like that one. That's for damn sure.
No, one of a kind for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so with Peasants, was it with Peasants that you opened for Metallica?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
so tell me about that.
We had the drummer had a friend of the family that had a connection, and we were causing quite a bit of a buzz, and they asked if we were available. I think it was more through the promoter, not like the band actually. Like Metallica sought me out, but you get there how you can, and it was cool. It was definitely the most people I've at that time played to, and I wish I could take the performance back, but I can't.
Why is that?
Everything, when you get going, it's the adrenaline kicks in, and then the meters and the tempos of the song start to shift. Like the song is supposed to be dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh crap. And then you can't just slow it down. You have to kind of ride it out. So and also I'm not, a perfectionist, but I'm always kind of really, I scrutinize my performances as I put practice into them. I want to get better. And even back then I was like, I should have done this, should have done that. And so I learned things, keep practicing all the time, every day, and then you won't have any second thoughts or doubts. So that's kind of where it ended up being really awesome. And I think they kind of popped out to check us out and then kind of popped away. And I think it was Metal Church played after we did.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting, but that was definitely pretty cool.
Yeah. Where was that show?
That was at Walnut Creek Amphitheater in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is now probably like Dole Banana Theater or something like that. It's changed to so many different things.
Whoever pays the most, right?
Exactly. Edge, Castro Hall, Amphitheater, so they'll get anything. I guess money talks, right?
Yeah. And so I want to know a little bit about your dad also, because he was a professional. I mean, he was a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? So, like
Yeah.
you must have gone to a lot of football games.
No, when he was playing, uh, I was a bit too young to be going to games,
Hmm.
you know. But I always remember football being a huge part of our lives. It was always around Eagle stuff, and I even used to have his cards he had, and I would take him to school when I was a kid and like sell them for like a buck. Like, hey, you got a card? I'll sign it. My dad will sign it. And I'd be like, sign it myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you are his namesake, so it's not too far off, right?
Right,
So
right. I do have part of the name in my name, but yeah, that was never got to see him play live, but even now you can look him up on the internet and you can just see him just clobbering people. So it's pretty impressive. I mean, it's always exciting when you're to grow up when your dad's, and like both of my parents are my heroes.
yeah,
It's kind of awesome. My mom, she's a retired school teacher,
that's
really
awesome.
awesome. She's the one that kind of helped me develop my spirituality. Uh, Super open minded person, not like, you better do this. It's like, try that. Go to that church with that friend. Go to this church. See what you like. You know, Try it out. See what calls to you. And most people are like, you better do what I said. Why? Because I said so.
Yeah,
And that doesn't leave a lot for learning. But I kind of appreciate it because I had a really good balance, like a free spirit mom and a dad. It was kind of not I wouldn't say a hard ass, but I didn't get away with shit.
right.
There's certain stuff that I didn't do. We know better. So, I feel really, really lucky just to call my parents my heroes, and my sister, of course. She's amazing too. Have a lot of love around me, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's good to have that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you've spent a good amount. How long have you been kind of in the San Francisco area? I know you're back and forth between San Francisco.
I've been back and forth now for like 10 years. Uh, I first started coming out, I was working with a magazine and I had to interview DJ Qbert. And I went out for the first time. And it's just my spiritual home. I felt good there. The open-mindedness of the people there. I saw the kind of shift from the tech thing. I think I was right there, right when the techie thing started happening. And it's definitely a lot different now. But I hear now a lot of the tech folks are kind of moving out. And so rent's dropping back. And I'm making plans to, return sooner than later. But it's just everything's just at a halt. And you have to make sure, you know, employment's in place. Things are, and it's just I just love it. I just love it. And just being a part of the Hyde Street crew, and being able to go there and work at this place where so many amazing records were made, and have a chance to, you know I'm not sure how my chapter will turn out, but at least I get to write a chapter that's started there. And it's like it's just an honor to be even, to work there. It's like, you're somewhere really special.
Yeah. And so I'm in Napa, California, right? And so I'd like to hear kind of some of the stories either of venues that you played at in the Bay Area or shows that you've been to. What are some of those venues that you love going to?
Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start, man. So many. Um,
For me, it's the Fillmore. I can start you there. So,
I've seen P Funk at the Fillmore. I remember being there the night that the Giants won, and Stone Temple Pilots was actually playing at. I think that was at the Fillmore.
Uh-huh.
and seen a couple of awesome shows there. The the name is failing me. It's like this one venue that's it's in an industrial district.
Uh-huh. Like bottom of the hill, or
Bottom of the hill. There you go. Bottom of the hill.
yeah.
That you can never get a ride once you get there.
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. No, because of
They call it
that.
the Good Luck Getting Home Club.
Right.
But
Yeah.
seen a lot of amazing shows there. I saw a really cool show there a few years ago with a San Francisco band called Belleville Vanish.
Okay.
They're really cool. And I used to play a little bit. I would play around once in a while with Eric McFadden, who's a San Francisco guy, kind of a guitar virtuoso of sorts. And so I've jammed with him in quite a few clubs around town, and I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just something. And creative wise, certain places I kind of lock up, I guess, when the energy's kind of weird. And other places I open up. And it seems that when I'm there, it opens. And I just create so much more. It's
Yeah.
gonna get me emotional.
Oh, I know. There's so many great places here.
Oh,
I think it's awesome. Well, so we started out talking about how we're kind of in time that's out of this world, but I know you also have a passion for UFOs. So we can kind of wind out the interview part on that if you want to tell me a little bit about your passion there.
okay. I guess my first instance I had was in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Prob and I was with two other friends. We were actually leaving the beach and kind of saw something kind of triangular with three lights, silent and huge. And 3 years or 4 years later, I was actually at Johnny Mercer's Pier, which is uh, actually where people do a lot of the beach fishing there, and hanging out with 4 or 5 other people. And we saw something kind of similar come out of the water. And each time it was not me by myself.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if I wouldn't dare say it's alien, but I'm sure the government has, and there's air bases near there and all kinds of stuff. And it's probably something they're working on and, not fully disclosing. I think there's probably a 10-year lag on technology and stuff like that, that after they fully discovered and tested and retested and retested and retested and retested, refine it, then it gets released to the public. I'm sure there's some kind of process, but because I'd like to think that I've never seen any little green people.
Yeah.
But then again, I would kind of think, if they came here, they traveled all that way. It's kind of like traveling across country and Wally World's closed. It's like, oh, this is it?
Yeah.
Earth? That's it? What's twerking? And that's what they take off. Yes, they twerk and they smoke meat. It's like, I don't, but who knows? Who knows? At
Yeah.
this point, truth and what I've known, and truth is always stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
So,
Well, near the beginning of
you ever seen anything?
Oh, have I ever seen? Nothing that I can pinpoint. It was, I don't know. It was interesting. I was sitting out on the porch, on the outside in the backyard, with the family a couple months ago, and there was just this weird item that was like, okay, what going across the sky, and wasn't a shooting star. It wasn't that fast. It wasn't a plane. It didn't have any of the blinky lights. It wasn't a helicopter or anything, right? So it's like, it's interesting. What was it? I don't know. Okay, maybe I guess it could be a satellite. But
if everyone's seen them, then that's a lot of satellites, right?
yeah. So you know, I've never seen anything I can point my finger to like that firmly that it's. But the Pentagon did admit that UFOs exist. You know, like 6 months ago, right?
Yeah,
So
they put out that Navy video of the guys going, "Wow, look at that thing," and so I don't know. I'm open to it because
yeah,
I really hope that I think something like an alien disclosure would be the only thing that would bring humanity together because everyone is so divided and separated that it would scare us into loving each other, you know.
we need
Which,
something. Yeah,
which I guess I guess it's not how you get there, right? It's
probably not that way. You know, there hopefully the easier ways, but less obtrusive. But you know,
yeah, but who knows? I mean, they're leaking information out and saying that stuff, and I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe in a year we can come back, and if we're both on Zorp, we can have the we
We
can
might,
talk about it. Like, we were right,
right? Exactly. We might be. We might be.
right?
Well, cool. So, first off, thank you for taking the time, Chris. But yeah, I understand you're open to playing a song as well. Is that right?
Sure. I think I might have a little fiddle right here.
Hey, how about that?
Looky there. This is actually the new single, Ariana. Could I steal just a moment of your time? Wonder could I make you mine? Something about that look in your eyes, it makes me feel like I'm alive. Whoa. And I never met a girl like you. Bet you be the one to make my dreams come true. Your words they whisper like the wind. Don't know how to stop it when it begins. And every time I take a look in the sky, you are the star that keeps on lighting up the night. And every time I take a look in the sky, you are the star that keeps on lighting up the night. And every time I take a look in the sky, you are the star that keeps on lighting up the night. The night, the night, the night. Whoa, whoa.
Beautiful. I like it. Yeah. So, so tell me, where did the inspiration for Ariana come from?
Love, like I haven't met the girl that's the one yet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I met the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the
Uh-huh.
7.
And they're all in the other room, and
but not quite the one. And it's like a song of yearning and what it would be like and what it would feel like. Like I'm into the way things make you feel and how you can translate these emotions into a word or an action or something. So it's all about the dream and promise of love, pretty much. And also even in choosing songs on the record in which to release first, we probably could have gone, I have some rocking songs too, but this is a nice, easy song. And I think people need some nice and easy right now. And then when it gets back, to the point where, they can handle it, then I'll just rock the hell out.
Yeah.
But I just want to kind of ease people into the vibe, and just kind of people need to be soothed right now. A lot of people are just hyped up and in interesting places. And as artists, that's part of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to entertain. And if I could sing a song and for a few minutes, somebody's like my mom turns out loves a song, and my sister, and they keep listening to it. And they say, we listen to it because it makes us happy. And that's like a really beautiful thing when just a song can do that, because you could probably name a song that when you were little that you heard when it would come on, you would throw down whatever toy you had in your hand and you would start dancing.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to tell me what it is, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's that whole thing, man. It's the magic of it. It's like almost being allowed to play with magic is like being a musician.
Yeah.
And then when you make people cry, I guess it's bad magic.
Yeah. As if you make them cry from your music, tears of joy, right? So
There you go. There you go.
that's good as well. Well, Chris, I look forward to the full EP coming out and being able to check that out. I'm sure you're excited to release it as well in January. So
yes, I'm beyond excited, and thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you.
hey, well, thank you for your time, and we'll get through this. We will.
We will.
Yeah.
We will. Maybe we could chat again someday when the whole thing comes out and see what you think of the whole work as a collective.
I like it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Well, you have a great weekend ahead, okay?
You too. Take care.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
That was the interview with the Neverlutionaries here on Concert Pipeline. And Jens, that takes us to the final segment on the program. What is it?
It is time to discuss some music news, Steve.
That is right. We each have a couple of stories to share, things that are going on in the music world. And, Jens, I'll start out with a story. So this is about your favorite Osbournes, Ozzy and Sharon.
Ozzy, yeah. What's going on in Ozzy's life or Sharon's life?
Well, Ozzy and Sharon were victims of credit card fraud, Jens.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Them and a billion other people.
I know, this is a really hard-hitting news, right?
Yeah.
As with all Osbourne news, right, it broke on Sharon's talk show, The Talk. And she revealed while they were discussing Conan O'Brien's late night set being burglarized, which, side note, I watched a video for that, and so he's recording their shows at the Largo in Los Angeles, which is a music venue. They're saving a music venue by recording their shows there, and so they were talking. The Largo. Conan's stuff, a couple of his crew's like laptops that they used to do their Zoom interviews that were stolen, and then the clapboard, that they sync the audio and video with was stolen. And so I don't know. You can check that video out. That's a side topic, but it was pretty. Conan's take on it was pretty funny. And so they were talking about that on The Talk, and so she went on to say that her daughter Kelly's birthday was today, and she went to pick up her gift, which sounds like she was cutting it a little too close, probably, but why not? And she gave her credit card. They come back and they said, "Do you have another credit card?" Right? And she through. And so she told them to try it again, didn't go through. So they're like, do you have another one? So she tried another one. And then she gave them Ozzy's credit card, right? And they come back and they go, do you have another one? It didn't go through.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so
Are they stealing all these numbers?
Yes, someone ran up charges and maxed out Ozzy's card and her card. She called the credit card company and they go, no, you're maxed out. So is Ozzy on this account? And so she's like, I don't go to that store or to this other store. Sharon was still able to get Kelly a gift, and she said that she's working with the credit card company to clear up the charges. So,
wow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, credit card fraud sucks, period. But
yeah.
To find out that it happened to you when you're trying to, get ready for a birthday and you're, trying to find a gift or I mean, does it ever happen during times that are less important? Like, I don't know, you want to go to the store and buy some, your latte or something, it's declined, that's no big deal. Does that ever happen? Or it always has to happen if you're traveling or you're in some situation where it really sucks.
Have you had credit card fraud happen to you?
Yeah, several times.
I think I've lucked out, so.
Yeah, a couple times. Interestingly enough, it kept on happening to us with Capital One. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but that card kept on getting compromised. Like, it happened 3 times in 1 year. And we decided, fuck it, we're going to a different bank. We haven't had the problem since. So I don't have any idea why, or if it has anything to do with Capital One at all. But
well, did you have the no hassle card? Because I know there's no hassle when you have the no hassle card, right?
I don't know.
Isn't that Capital One's thing? The Capital One no hassle card or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember.
That fell flat because anyway. Yeah.
I think we got suckered in, or we decided to go with Capital One because they had some, great deals. If you travel or something, maybe you get extra points, or it was just because you could put your photograph, you could upload your photograph onto your account, and they would ship you a card with your photo on it, which was cool. I don't remember. Whatever.
You get a card with your photo on it, but hey, you're gonna get some fraud attached to it. So
I know. It's like, don't you want to, maybe they're trying to encourage you to like update the photo on your card more often. You should have at least a different photo on there 3 times a year. So hey.
Sounds about right. You got a
Was that your story? Yeah, I got a story. This is about the Rolling Stones, kind of. I'm sorry, that's not right at all. It's about Guns N' Roses.
Okay, close.
Okay, so let's talk about why Gilby Clarke turned down Guns N' Roses reunion jam.
Okay, tell me about it.
All right, so Gilby Clarke is the former guitarist for the whole Use Your Illusion era. And
he was in Guns N' Roses for 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. So he shared in a new interview in their Not in This Lifetime reunion tour, but had to decline due to another obligation.
Okay.
Wow.
What's more important than being in one of the biggest tour, like the biggest tour of the year? I mean, what's more important than that, Jens?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to jump ahead here, but I'm kind of wondering, was there another obligation that was really that important, or was it just trying to find a way to get out of this because
he just
wasn't into it, wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So he responded, wait a minute, I am jumping ahead of myself. So Gilby made an appearance recently on the Trunk Nation podcast and was asked, quote, have they ever reached out to you about joining them on the Not in This Lifetime tour, unquote. He responded, quote, yes, they did. Yeah, they did. When it first started, they did reach out to me to come and play. End quote. He went on to explain why it did not happen. He says, quote, "My daughter, Frankie, has a band. They asked me the same day my daughter's band was playing Lollapalooza 2016, which was like the biggest break for her band." That's like really cool, right?
Yeah.
It was the same day. Go ahead.
I was saying, but he's a proud dad, huh?
Yeah, totally, right? It was the same day when they were playing Lollapalooza, and I had to be there. And I couldn't really give that up to go. And in follow-up, he was asked if he was still open to playing with Guns N' Roses again, and he said, "I have nothing against it. It's just that it didn't work out for me." I mean, that's pretty cool. That's a cool story, right?
Yeah.
That is a cool story. I mean, life happens. You can't organize everything nicely on a calendar. You can't be in two places at once. But to say, yeah, I'm going to support my daughter. Can't do the Guns N' Roses tour.
Is it bad that I just feel like, I probably would have skipped my daughter's concert at Lollapalooza and gone and played songs of Guns N' Roses? Like, is that bad?
I think what I would have done is I would have hunted high and low for someone who looked just like me. And I'm like, dude, just convince my daughter that you're me.
Yeah, I was there in the crowd. Look, I took pictures.
Right, exactly. I was there. See, right there.
Yeah, I'm the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Well, my next story is about Green Day.
All right.
And not even directly about Green Day, but about their side project, The Network, which is all three members of Green Day. They teased the release of Money Money 2020 Part 2. Money Money 2020 is their only album to date. They're teasing Part 2 of that. They've always denied being behind the network, who released their first and only album in 2003. It's so funny that they deny it. A mysterious video appeared on the network's Instagram account yesterday, featuring a creepy voiceover, skulls, lizards, and more. The insignificance of man cannot be overstated, the voice says. So in the year of Money Money 2020, as Mark 2 approaches, remember one thing. The clip then cuts to footage of the masked band singing, "We're right, you're wrong, we told you so." And you can check that out on their Instagram page. But Green Day frontman Billy Joe Armstrong shared the video and other clips of music on his Instagram story, captioning the post with things like, "I don't know who this is, and we are not the network." And the network, definitely not Green Day. He also said, "Fuck these guys," he wrote on another post before sharing fans' confused comments about the network's identity. And meanwhile, Armstrong is set to release a compilation of his No Fun Mondays cover series next month, which he'd done, I think through Instagram or something, but a bunch of a cover song every Monday. He's gonna release that as an album. So
that's cool.
Yeah, but the network, that'll be interesting. I'm sure I shared this on the pod at some point, but I got to see the network open for Green Day probably around that time, 2003, when I was going to San Francisco State, and it was at the Warfield. It was amazing. It was one of the best shows ever. I mean, just seeing Green Day open for Green Day, and in what for them is a tiny venue, it was so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the network, like, there's so many fog machines you could, and they are like in costumes and everything, and so you couldn't see shit, right? But it was, it was incredible. It was just incredible.
Like, when you say costumes, I'm thinking.
They're just in disguises, right? They're not in their normal green. You can't see their faces or anything.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
At all. But but it's the guys from Green Day. So
yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I think just being at a concert venue is pretty
Yeah, I
awesome
know.
right now.
Yeah.
Just
That'd
any
be-
concert.
That would be pretty great. Yes.
Totally.
One day it'll be back. One day.
Hopefully.
You got one more story,
Hopefully.
Christians.
I do. So, there is going to be a David Bowie live stream tribute concert. It's going to take place on would have been the late rocker's 74th birthday this coming January.
Wow. It's been.
Damn, dude, it's been a while since
I know.
Bowie passed.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
so recent, but yeah,
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
So organized by the music icons pianist Mike Garson, quote, a Bowie celebration just for one day, unquote, will take place on January the 8th, 2021, assuming 2021 happens.
Yeah, right. I know we're not there yet. So
You know, we're still waiting for the alien invasion.
we are.
We're still waiting for like that meteor that's supposed to hit us.
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris. Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about that, right? So
yeah. The murder hornets, I think they're a real thing. They're going to make a huge comeback.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to actually do some murdering.
Yeah, we might not make it. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, if we do, it's going to be awesome because one of the first things we get to do is do this thing on January 8th. So it's going to feature a mix of special guests alongside former members of the singer's touring lineups throughout the years. So David's music means so much to so many, says Garson, that we can't wait to perform a beautiful set list of some of his most memorable hit songs, along with a collection of deep cut Bowie gems. And we would love for you to join in on the whole celebration. So get this, the concert will feature performances from none other than Trent Reznor.
Okay, nice.
Perry Farrell.
Okay, little Jane's Addiction.
Joe Elliott.
Okay.
Of Def Leppard. Ian Atsbury of The Cult. Billy Corgan, Gavin Rossdale of Bush, and many other guests, as well as dozens of Bowie album band members spanning David's career from his 1969 self-titled album to 2016's Black Star, including David's complete final touring band of Mike Garson, Gail and Dorsey, Earl Slick.
You're going to read all these names, right?
I am, yeah. Sterling Campbell, Gary Leonard, and Catherine Russell, along with Zach Alford. Carla, you know what? I'm reading these names because I can pronounce them. I'm like so excited. I haven't gotten to a name yet that is what? Anyway, I'm going to stop there. There's a whole shitload of people. So
one more on the list that I want to call out, Holly Palmer, who was at she played at the David Bowie celebration that we went to in 2016, and she
the
was
blonde one.
Yep, and she was on Concert Pipeline. Yes,
I remember her.
Yes, yeah, she was really sweet. So
yeah. I don't see anything about David Bowie's actor friend. He was there. He was there, right? Too at the thing.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that anymore. So
okay. Anyway, so the virtual event follows a planned 2020 Bowie celebration tour that was shut down due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is gonna be cool. Yeah. Well, I'm in, man. I'll do this.
Good deal. I got one more story for you, Jens.
Is it about our friend Dave Grohl?
It is.
Yes.
Well,
what do you got for us?
Dave Grohl and his mother were discussing teaching with Joe Biden in a new campaign video.
Teaching. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So they took part in an interview about the power of education with Joe Biden's wife, Jill, who the Foo Fighters man is endorsing ahead of the presidential election. I don't know if you knew we had an election coming up.
Did you say Joe Biden's wife is his name Joe?
Jill.
Jill. It's Jill and
Yeah.
Joe.
Yes.
Is that why they got married? Just
That's
to make
why,
things
yeah.
simple, like
Mhm.
your name starts with a J, my name starts with a J.
That's the way to
We
do
should
it. Just
we
like
should
our
shag.
friends Joe and Jackie. They
That's probably why they shagged.
right. Okay. Carrying on.
Moving along. Okay.
Dave said, I was raised by a school teacher, so I know as a child how hard my mother worked, not just at the school, but within the community. And the future first lady, possibly, then floats the idea that teachers are the rock stars, which is a point that Grohl is happy to agree with, saying, I've always felt that way. They discuss problems facing teachers in the U.S. Teacher salaries are one thing. That's always been the case, and nobody's listened for a long time. Dave's mom stated she taught in Northern Virginia, and single parent raising kids. She couldn't afford to live there on her pay, so she had to work 2 or 3 jobs at the same time. And Dave put a bunch of praise on his mom, saying, every morning I'd wake up in our little house in Springfield, Virginia, and my mother was always ready to get us in the car and get us to school, knowing that she had a full day ahead of her with hundreds of children that relied on her to help them move forward in life. And every night after dinner, I would watch my mother at the desk in the living room. I watched my mother make plans to help people my entire life. There's more, but you can check out that interview as well online. So good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's totally cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jens, that's our show for today.
That is. You know what? Maybe do you know anything about this? I was just flipping through some Dave Grohl stuff. Did you come across this thing about Foo Fighters have made their David Bowie Let's Dance album?
I think we talked about that one.
Did we talk about that one already?
Yeah, I think
like last week?
I mean, probably a month or more ago. So
all right,
I think so.
I wasn't sure if this was like a follow-up thing, but I don't think it is. Okay, anyway, carry on. That was our show. Yes. And it's funny that we had a show so soon after our last show, because I remember you saying very distinctly, Steve, there was nothing coming down the pipeline. And I told you, yeah, well, last time you said that, you phoned me up the next day and you're like, I got 3 interviews. What happens this week? Same thing.
Train keeps rolling. So rolling. Next week on the podcast, we have an artist named Andy Watts. He's a blues artist, and so going to get to talk to him. It'll be an interesting interview. And then we also have an interview lined up with who else I have? I don't know. I got one other one lined up, and I just don't have it handy yet. Animal Weapon. Group called Animal Weapon. So yes, like you said, there are more coming. There's also possibly a big one around the corner, but that one's still in the works, so I won't tease it. So
no spoilers.
The show carries on, and we're going to keep bringing it. So for all of us here at Concert Pipeline, that's Jens Schippel.
And that is Steve Jones.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.